Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Mark, and I'm really glad you're here with us today because this is not a lesson with rules and pressure. It's just a long, relaxed conversation between two friends, so you can sit back, breathe slowly, and listen in your own time.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lily, and you're listening to Simple Speak English. And if this is your first time here, don't worry at all, because we speak slowly, clearly, and naturally, just like real life. And we want you to feel comfortable, not stressed.
Exactly. And Lily, I really like that this feels like a podcast because people can listen while driving, cooking, cleaning, or even lying down with their eyes closed.
Yes, and that's very important because language goes into your brain better when you are relaxed, not when you are tense or worried about mistakes.
So, before we really get into our topic, let me ask you something very simple, Lily. How's it going today?
Honestly, not bad. I woke up a little tired, but after some coffee and a quiet morning, I started to feel better, and now I feel kind of calm and ready to talk.
That sounds very real, and I think many people listening right now feel the same way. Just normal, everyday feelings.
Yes, and that already shows how natural English sounds, because we're not trying to impress anyone. We're just sharing how we feel.
To be honest, I remember when I used to think English had to sound very serious, like a presentation, and I was always afraid of saying the wrong thing.
I know that feeling very well, because from my experience, many learners think silence is safer than speaking, but silence doesn't help you grow.
That's true, and growth often feels uncomfortable at first.
Exactly, and that's why today's topic is so important, because we're talking about simple English phrases that help you sound more natural, not more perfect.
Yes, and sounding natural means sounding human, with pauses, feelings, and small imperfections.
So, Mark, let's start very gently. When someone says to you, "How's it going?" what do you usually say without thinking too much?
Most of the time I say, not bad, because it's honest, it's relaxed, and it doesn't need a long explanation.
I love that phrase, because not bad doesn't mean everything is amazing, but it also doesn't mean everything is terrible. It's just real life.
Exactly, and real-life English lives in that middle space.
Sometimes I also say, "It's been a long day," and people immediately understand the feeling.
Yes, and you don't need to explain everything because the phrase already carries emotion.
That makes sense, and emotion is what connects people.
I see. And connection is much more important than grammar rules.
So true. And another phrase I use a lot is, "I guess so," especially when I'm not completely sure about something.
Yes, like when someone asks, "Do you think it will rain today?" and you don't really know.
Exactly. And saying, "I guess so," sounds honest and natural, not weak.
That's a good point, because many learners think they must sound confident all the time, but real people are unsure very often.
All the time. And that's normal.
By the way, do you remember a moment when you felt very nervous speaking English?
Oh, yes, very clearly. And to be honest, I still remember the feeling in my body. My heart was beating fast, my voice was shaking a little bit, and my sentences were very short.
But you still spoke, and that's what matters.
Yes, and after it was over, I thought, okay, it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't a disaster either.
That's life, right?
That's life, exactly. And that phrase alone can express so much.
Sometimes I think learners try to control every word, and that makes their English sound stiff.
Yes, and adding small phrases like "you know" or "kind of" can make your speech softer and more natural.
For example, "I'm kind of tired today" sounds more real than "I am tired."
It feels gentler, like real conversation.
I get it, and gentleness helps confidence grow.
Another phrase I love is "I'm not sure," because it gives you permission to not know everything.
Yes, and it's honest. and people respect honesty.
In my opinion, honesty makes conversations warmer.
That's true, and warmth makes people feel safe.
And when people feel safe, they are more open to speaking.
At the same time, practice still matters, but gentle practice.
Yes, not pressure, not comparison, just steady practice.
Sometimes I talk to myself in English, especially when I'm thinking.
Me too, and it's actually very helpful.
I say things like, I was just thinking, or let's see, when I'm planning my day.
Those phrases are perfect for daily life, and nobody is judging you when you practice alone.
No worries at all.
No worries is such a comforting phrase.
It really is, and comfort is important when learning a language.
Yes, because fear blocks learning.
That's a good point, and fear often comes from comparison.
Comparison is very dangerous, especially when you listen to fluent speakers and think you should sound like them.
But everyone has their own journey.
Exactly. And sounding natural doesn't mean sounding perfect. It means sounding like yourself.
I really like that idea, sounding like yourself in English.
Me too, because language is part of who you are.
So if someone asks you, do you want coffee or tea? What do you usually say?
Most of the time, I say, I don't mind, because I'm okay with either.
That phrase sounds very relaxed and friendly.
Yes, and phrases like, it's up to you, also show flexibility.
Flexibility makes conversations easy.
And easy conversations help confidence.
From my experience, people remember how you made them feel, not how correct your grammar was.
That's very true, and feelings stay longer than rules.
Sometimes learners ask, when will my English be good enough? And that question makes them anxious.
Yes, and the answer is, it's already good enough to communicate.
You can always improve, but you don't need to wait to start speaking.
Exactly, and phrases like, that sounds good, help you respond naturally without thinking too much.
Yes, especially when someone invites you somewhere.
You don't need a long answer, just a warm one.
I'll think about it is also very useful when you need time.
Yes, and it's polite and honest.
English has many soft ways to say things.
And soft language helps relationships grow.
Yes, and relationships are really the heart of language because we don't speak just to share information, we speak to connect, to feel understood, and to feel a little less alone.
That's so true, and I think many learners forget that because they focus so much on rules that they forget people are listening with their hearts, not with grammar books.
Exactly. And when you remember that, English feels lighter, like something you can play with instead of something you have to fight.
I like that idea, playing with language, because when children learn a language, they don't worry about mistakes at all. They just try and they laugh and they try again.
Yes, and adults forget how powerful that way of learning is.
So sometimes I tell learners, try to speak like you're talking to a close friend, not like you're taking a test.
That's a great way to think about it, because with friends, you pause, you change direction, you say things like, actually, or you know what, and nobody minds.
Exactly, and those little phrases help your English sound alive.
Alive is a good word, because living language moves, it breathes, it changes.
And it's okay if your sentence changes in the middle, because real people do that all the time.
All the time, yes. Like when I start a sentence and then say, well, actually, and go a different way.
I do that too, and it gives you time to think.
Time is important, because when learners rush, they feel more stress.
Yes, slowing down is a gift you give yourself.
So let me ask you something, Lily. Do you think people should practice English every day or only when they feel motivated?
I think it depends, because some days you feel motivated and some days you don't. But even on low energy days, listening a little bit still helps.
That makes sense, and listening doesn't feel as heavy as speaking.
Exactly, and that's why podcasts like this are helpful, because you can just listen and let the language wash over you.
I like that image. Language washing over you, slowly and gently.
Yes, like background music that slowly becomes familiar.
And one day you notice you're using phrases without thinking.
That moment feels really good because you realize your brain has been learning quietly.
Quiet learning is powerful.
Very powerful and very underrated.
Sometimes learners tell me they understand English, but they feel stuck when speaking.
That's very common, and it's okay.
Yes, because understanding comes before speaking.
And speaking comes when you feel safe enough.
Safety is so important, and that's why gentle phrases matter.
Yes, phrases like, let me think, or I'm not sure, give you space.
Space to breathe, space to think, space to continue.
Exactly, and no one expects you to be fast.
That's true. Speed is not the goal. Clarity and connection are.
I love that. Clarity and connection.
So, if someone is listening right now and feels shy, what would you tell them?
I would tell them, it's okay to be shy. Just start small. Maybe one phrase a day, like saying, not bad, or I guess so.
Small steps feel less scary.
Yes, and small steps still move you forward.
That's life. Progress is often quiet.
And sometimes you don't see it until later.
Exactly. Like when you suddenly understand a conversation and think, wait, when did this happen?
Yes, that's a great feeling.
Another thing I notice is that learners are very hard on themselves.
Yes, much harder than they would be with other people.
If a friend made a mistake, you wouldn't judge them.
No, you would probably say, it's okay, or no worries.
And you should say the same thing to yourself.
That's such an important point, being kind to yourself in the learning process.
Kindness creates confidence,
And confidence creates more speaking.
which creates more learning.
It's a beautiful cycle when you think about it.
It really is.
So, Mark, do you have a favorite simple phrase that you use almost every day?
I think I use "it depends" a lot because life is rarely black and white.
That's very true. And that phrase sounds thoughtful.
Yes, it shows you're thinking, not rushing.
I like that sounds good because it's warm and positive.
Yes, and it's very useful in social situations.
Exactly. You don't need a long sentence to be polite.
Simple can be very powerful.
Simple is often clearer than complicated.
And clear communication builds trust.
Trust makes conversations deeper.
You know, sometimes I think learning English is also about learning patience.
Yes, patience with the language and patience with yourself.
Because progress doesn't always look exciting.
Sometimes it looks like listening quietly or repeating the same phrase many times.
But that repetition builds familiarity.
And familiarity builds comfort.
Comfort is such an important word here.
Yes, because when you feel comfortable, your real voice comes out.
And sounding natural is really about letting your real voice come out in English.
Exactly. Not copying someone else, but expressing yourself.
That's why we keep things slow and natural here.
And that's why we talk like real friends.
Speaking of that, Lily, if you could give one piece of advice to English learners, what would it be?
I would say, don't wait to be perfect. Start where you are, with the English you already have.
That's very powerful advice.
Because waiting only creates fear.
And fear blocks progress.
Yes, but action, even small action, builds confidence.
Confidence grows quietly.
Just like language.
As we keep talking, I hope listeners feel like they're part of this conversation.
Yes, like they're sitting with us, listening, maybe smiling a little.
And maybe thinking, hey, English doesn't feel so scary right now.
That's our goal.
To make English feel human.
And approachable.
And something you can live with every day.
Before we slowly start to wrap things up, I just want to remind everyone, learning English is a journey, not a race.
And you don't need to compare your journey to anyone else's.
Your pace is your pace.
And that's okay.
If you're enjoying this calm podcast-style conversation, and if it helps you feel more relaxed about English, we would really love it if you subscribed to Simple Speak English.
Yes, subscribing helps keep these conversations coming into your life, and it also helps us continue creating long, slow, natural English content for you.
It also means you won't miss future episodes where we talk about real-life topics in simple, clear English.
And if you're listening right now, just know that we really appreciate you being here.
We truly do, because learning a language takes courage.
And showing up is already a big step.
So take a deep breath, be proud of yourself, and keep going.
Speak a little English every day, even if it's just one phrase.
Because those small moments add up.
That's life. Slow growth, real progress.
Thank you for listening.
Take care, and we'll talk again very soon.
Bye, everyone.